trusting him and having faith in that was hard because I know me, I know my flesh. I would call out of boredom, I would text, I would accept the dinner date, I would, hey, let's just watch a movie. Hey, you want to ride with me here? And then we would be back in a relationship. So in my flesh, that was routine. But in this case, I knew God was giving me order. If you are new here, welcome. If you are returning, welcome back. My name is Tasia Renee, and on this channel, we do a little bit of fashion content, we do a little bit of makeup, and we do Bible studies. We go over Bible, what I have learned, and I just take that and share it with you. I am not an expert at this. I don't think anybody is. I think what I am doing is just sharing what I study with you all. That is it. So feel free to leave comments. Feel free to teach me something. I am teachable. So these Bible studies are just a great way for me to express what I'm learning as I'm learning. And I feel like the Lord is allowing me to share it with you all. We are going to be reading from Genesis 12, 1 through 3. And Genesis 12, we're going to be reading about Abraham's journey to Egypt, which God had made him a promise once he arrived there. We're going to read from Genesis 12, 1 through 3. Go forth from your country and go from your relatives and from your father's house to the land which I will show you, and I will make you a great nation, and I will bless you and make your name great, and so you shall be a blessing, and I will bless those who bless you, and the ones who curse you I will curse, and in all the families of the earth will be blessed. So in Genesis 12, God has given Abraham a promise, and it is Abraham's job to trust, obey, and be obedient. This passage is mainly about faith. So I wrote down God established a covenant, which is a promise, with Abraham by telling him that he would fund a great nation, which sounds like a promise to me. Not only will the nation God called Abraham to be blessed, but those that are attached to him as well as other nations because of his obedience. But it was under one condition, to leave everything behind and everyone. So I feel like in verse 1, he commands Abraham to go from his country, which is an order, which means that that is an assignment that God is expecting him to be obedient and just do what he's asking him to do. A lot of times when God is asking us to do something, which he's given us an order, we don't follow right away. In verse 2, God promises that he will make him into a great nation. That is a declaration. That is prophecy. That is God saying, when you obey, there's a promise attached to it and it is going to happen. That is God speaking over his life, saying that I am going to do what I said I was going to do. You just have to have faith, obey, and follow. And then in verse 3, he protects him, curse those who curse him. So not only did he give him an order, he spoke prophecy over his life. And while you are obeying God's order, he is going to protect you. It doesn't get better than that. I don't know any person or any order or any opportunities that we get that comes with those three things. Most times if we get an opportunity or order from someone, it doesn't come with protection. It doesn't come with a promise. God is a man that cannot lie. So if he said it, he is going to do it. He is going to do it. God doesn't give us the full details of the journey, but he will guide us and lead us to the promise. We want to know the full detail, but that is not faith. Knowing the full detail, that is not faith. Faith is literally, since this passage is about faith, faith is literally taking an order from God or a promise and trusting it. That's it. That's it. And that's speaking it over yourself. That is speaking scripture over yourself. That is saying, Lord, I trust you in what you said and what you told me is going to come to pass. That is the faith. Not only saying it, but actually believing it in your heart. I can remember recently, I had a girl working at the salon. She doesn't work there anymore, but I was telling her that I needed to order some new shampoo bowls. And I was like, I really don't have the money, but we do need some. Like, these are not that great anymore, but I don't have the money to order them. And then I was like, you know what? I need to stop saying that. I'm just going to go ahead and order them. I'm going to finance the sinks and pay them off, and it'll be fine. I'm sure I'll make the money along the way. And then immediately I said, I don't want to get myself in a bind and cause myself to have any other bills right now that I can't afford. And she looked at me and she said, well, that's not having faith. That's not having faith. She said, if you're going to do it, you just need to do it and know that they'll be paid for. That's what faith is. Even though I'm using that story to explain or be an example to this, it's the same thing. Like, I literally told myself in faith, I'm just going to do it. And then I immediately talked myself out of it because of fear. Faith and fear is the opposite. Faith, fear, faith, fear. So it's like I literally told myself, yeah, I'm going to do this. And then in the same sentence said, no, I'm not. Faith is the substance of things not seen. A lot of times we like to think that we have faith, but it's also control. That is also like, even with the sinks, I was trying to control the outcome. I was in control of, well, I'm just not going to order them because the money is not making sense right now. Even though we need this, and even though I trust that God will provide, because it's not a waste, it's actually something that we need. So I felt like I put faith on it, but then I immediately was still trying to control it. So sometimes we think we have faith, but we just want to have control. God is not going to give us a promise and then give us all the details. That's not having faith. Why would he do that? We wouldn't need him. We wouldn't have a reason to trust him. We would know everything. Then we would become a God. God took something from Abraham to give him more. Some of us are so scared of losing things that we already have and don't want to give it to God, when God never wanted us to have those things anyway. He never wanted us to have the things that we keep so clutch and idolize. He never wanted us to have that. But because we have worked hard for it or gained it or feel like we got it out the mud or I did this all by myself, we have created a God within ourselves over those things because we are too afraid to surrender and let God take them away to give us something better. We don't want to give him full control. And I say we because I'm talking about me too. I still have things that I'm juggling with, trying to let go of and release and completely give it to God and trust him and have faith. It's hard, it's not easy. But God never wanted us to have those things anyway. Whatever it is that you're afraid to let go of, he is going to replace it with something better. You are filling a void by constantly going out, or you can't stay at home because you're depressed, or God is going to take that away from you. He's probably going to isolate you, but you're going to gain peace. You're going to gain that inner joy. So that's what I mean by he's going to replace. He's not going to replace you going out with going to a better place. That's not what I mean. Like if you're going to a party, he's not going to replace you going on trips he wants you. He wants your time. So he's going to isolate you, but he's going to take those things away, those idols and things that you're filling voids with, and he's going to replace it with love, joy, happiness, peace. That is what I mean. Once God really starts to fill you up, you're going to be so unbothered. So those things that you are scared to release, and it don't even have to be places and people. It could be depression. It could be shopping. It could be drinking. It could be so many things that you are afraid to give up. God is going to replace it with something better. My pastor said it is the blessing of subtraction. And that cannot be more true. Blessing of subtraction. There's things that God took out of my life that I thought at that time was going to crush me. The last relationship that I was in, God literally told me to get out of it. Not only did he tell me where I heard his voice telling me. I had dreams about it. I had so much confirmation. There were signs about it. One of my friends had a dream about it. So it was like God was giving me triple confirmation, like, you have to get out of this. But I thought letting go of that, because it was like that stripping season that God took me through, that was the last thing that He was getting rid of. And I was just like, even though I knew the relationship was over, it was the comfort which was filling a void. I still didn't want to let it go. But once I saw what God was telling me in the dreams, and it wasn't bad stuff, it was just stuff showing me where I was headed if I did not let this go. Letting go of it was very hard. I was very complacent and comfortable, even though I knew it wasn't good for me. Letting go, it was hard. It was after that, I felt like immediately I knew I was not going back, because I knew God had ordered me to do this. Trusting Him and having faith in that was hard, because I know me, I know my flesh. I would call out of boredom, I would text, I would accept the dinner date, I would, hey, let's just watch a movie. Hey, you want to ride with me here? And then we would be back in a relationship. So in my flesh, that was routine. But in this case, I knew God was giving me order, and I had to follow, and I had to trust Him, and I had to have faith that it was going to be sunshine on the other side of this. And that was very scary. It was very hard. It was very hard. So when God gives you order, it's not going to be easy. The easy part is accepting it. The hard part is following through. Most people give up, turn back, and don't want to see it through. I'm so glad that I did, because I was able to actually spend time with myself, learn what I like and don't like in relationships. I actually saw myself a lot in that relationship. So I was able to process so much about myself. I was able to cry out, give my time to the Lord, and express my fears. So, Him taking that away, He replaced it with peace. When God is telling you to do something or ordering you to do something, I absolutely understand that it is challenging and hard. I mean, Abraham had to go to Egypt to claim a nation. Do you not understand how much pressure that was? I can't even imagine. Like, most of us can't even run a small business. Talking about a nation, I cannot imagine. Maybe God is trying to lead us to something or somewhere better for His glory. I am in a faith building season in my life. I am. My life is going to always revolve around faith, but right now I am in a faith building season. Honestly, I want to be here. I do, because I want to learn how to depend on God fully. And God has been challenging me in ways that I have to fully trust Him. Is it hard? Absolutely. Absolutely. There is something that He has me going through right now, and it is so hard. I have to see this through. And every time it gets hard, I either cry out, pray, and I tell the Lord, I have to see this through. I'm not going to give up. I have to trust that on the other side of this, there's something great. I've come too far to go back. Like, I'm like right here in the middle of it. So I can't go back. I can't go back. Like, going back, I know exactly what I'm going to. And then I would have to start all over. It's not like I'm going to pick up where I left off, but I'm right here in the middle. Closer, probably closer to the finish line than I think, but I have to see this through. Don't let your comfort or security of your present position make you miss out on greater opportunities. Because sometimes we'll look at the position we're in right at this present moment and say, there's no way. There's no way God is in it. There's no way He's doing anything. Nothing is happening. And it could be like that. Like, I feel like God has been, I'm not going to say He's been quiet, but He hasn't been talking to me as much in this season. And maybe it's because I'm in a faith building season and I know it. So I feel like in that case, God is like, you said that you're going to trust me. So let's see. He's not saying a whole lot. It's just when things take off or things happen in my life, who are you going to first? Who is your source? So for me, I am learning to practice to go to Him, which a lot of times I'm already in His presence because I talk to God all day. So just know, if God is ordering you to do something, just like He did with Abraham, He promised Abraham a great nation. He had to leave his friends, his family. He had to leave everything. And that could be even hard. Sometimes we don't understand when God is calling us to something and we have to truly detach from people. You don't even have to do that part. God is going to do it. You don't have to tell them anything. You don't have to say anything, even though I'm not saying that's the route to take, like intentionally doing it. But when God is really working with you and you are locked in with Him, things around you are going to start to appear differently. People are going to leave because there's some people who are not going to understand what you and God are working on. You're not going to be as open to tell them either. People around you who are not connected spiritually probably will leave. Those that are connected to you spiritually and understand, sometimes all you got to do is say, I'm just going through some stuff with God and I can't really, they'll know, they'll understand, they'll pray for you. They'll probably just support you with prayer, maybe checking in with you here and there. I have experienced both sides. So when people are connected to God, it's going to, they're more understanding to what is going on because they probably already went through it. So I'm just going to leave you with this. When God calls you out and God gives you an order, just obey. Try your best to just obey. We cannot repay God for everything that He has done, but we can obey. I think that's the best payoff to give God is to be obedient to what He's calling us to do. Once you obey Him, the protection, the promise, the declaration, the prophecy, He's going to have you covered. So in that case, when you are following His orders, there's nothing around you worldly that you should be concerned about because none of that is going to matter. And God is going to protect you. You don't have to say anything, you don't have to prove anything. All you have to do is do what God told you to do. And to others, it's going to look crazy. It is. But so what? So what? Who cares? When you truly are locked in with God, you're not going to care anyway. You are not going to care what people think. If God is calling you to something, then that is God trying to elevate your life. He doesn't do things for nothing. He doesn't do things for nothing. And then those that are attached to you will also reap the benefits of what you are doing. You'll be the proof for them to see because everything that we do for Christ is not for us. It is for God to use us for those around us to come out. So just know when you give God your yes, that is helping people that are attached to you because then once people see what God is doing for you, they might want to experience a man named Jesus. And that is what this is all about. I pray that you will release fear, doubt, procrastination, and others validating you and replace it with God's word, His promises, and who God says that you are. I pray that you will no longer fight battles that weaken you to getting to your promised land or that makes you spiritually immature and insecure. I pray that you give God full permission to use you. I pray that we allow God to remove any spirits that is not like Him, which is spirits of fear, doubt, shame, embarrassment, anything from your past. I pray that God will remove it so that you can become fully who He has called you to be and walk in His orders with faith. We have to see it through. Don't give up. Don't give up. If you are in a faith building season like me, which I know, like I said, that's just part of our life, is having faith and trusting God. But right now, for me, it's a little bit heavier than just, oh, I have faith. I feel like I am being challenged in that area. So don't give up. I'm right here with you. I'm going through the same thing, and we are going to see this through. God is going to have something amazing for us on the other side of this. Just trust the process.